The Golden State Warriors are facing a challenging situation following the departure of Chris Paul, who played only 58 games for the team. Paul's exit has left the Warriors grappling with complex issues regarding how to adjust their lineup and maintain competitiveness. Although Klay Thompson's departure has garnered significant media attention and fan reaction due to his illustrious career and impact on the team, Paul's absence could have a more immediate and profound effect on how the Warriors perform on the court. The primary concern centers around the Warriors' increased reliance on Brandon Podziemski, a promising but inexperienced player who will need to fill the roles previously occupied by both Thompson and Paul. This raises questions about Podziemski's ability to meet these expectations, especially given the immense responsibility involved in playmaking and scoring. Another critical factor is Stephen Curry's historical susceptibility to injuries. Throughout his career, Curry has missed a substantial number of games across various seasons due to physical issues, and any new problems could further expose the Warriors' vulnerabilities. Without a suitable replacement for Paul, the team risks entering a crisis that could undermine their competitiveness throughout the season. In terms of statistics, Chris Paul averaged 9.5 points and 4.5 assists during his brief stint with the team. While these numbers may seem modest compared to Klay Thompson's often higher scoring average, underestimated by many, while the emotional and symbolic impact of Thompson's exit tends to receive more focus. Currently, the Warriors have DeAnthony Melton and Buddy Hield available as potential replacements for Klay Thompson. Both players are talented and have shown their capabilities, but it remains to be seen if they can provide the same level of consistency and impact that Thompson offered over the years. On the other hand, Brandon Podziemski, despite being a promising young player, will need to handle the dual challenge of being the starting shooting guard and filling Chris Paul's role as the backup point guard. This task may be daunting for a player with limited NBA experience, and the team will need to closely monitor his performance, especially during critical moments of the season. Another important aspect to consider is the team's ability to adapt. With Paul's departure, playmaking responsibilities might increasingly fall on Draymond Green, who has fulfilled this role on various occasions. However, Green, known for his versatility, also has limits, and overburdening him with additional responsibilities could compromise his effectiveness in other areas of the game, such as defense. Kyle Anderson, another player who could be used as a facilitator, may also need to take on a larger role if the team opts for a more distributed playmaking approach. Anderson is known for his court intelligence and ability to make precise passes, but relying too heavily on him could expose the Warriors' depth limitations. As training camp approaches, the Warriors' front office will need to make crucial decisions on how to strengthen the roster to address the departures of Paul and Thompson. Adding an experienced point guard could be essential for providing stability to the team, especially considering the uncertainties surrounding Curry's health and Podziemski's inexperience. Available veteran players on the market could serve as a short-term solution to ensure the team has a contingency plan in case of emergencies. Another alternative could be for the Warriors to adopt a strategy that distributes playmaking responsibilities more evenly among the remaining players, with Draymond Green and Kyle Anderson taking on more prominent facilitation roles. However, this approach also carries risks, as it could overload players and impact other areas of the game, such as defense and rebounding. Regardless of the decisions made, the Warriors will need to balance short-term risks with long-term goals. The team is still considered a title contender, but the lack of depth could pose a significant obstacle. If they fail to effectively fill the gaps left by Paul and Thompson's departures, a Curry injury or Podziemski's inexperience could trigger a series of issues that might hinder the team's progress throughout the season. The combined departure of Chris Paul and Klay Thompson places the Warriors in a high-risk situation for the upcoming season. Without an experienced replacement and with a roster already facing potential weaknesses, the team will need to make smart adjustments to their lineup and possibly seek reinforcements before the situation worsens. The ability to adapt to these changes and avoid further injuries to key players like Stephen Curry will be crucial for the team's success. Warriors Insider reveals intriguing details on internal reasons blocking possible trade for Brandon Ingram before training camp. An insider from the Warriors has revealed intriguing details about the internal reasons blocking a potential trade for Brandon Ingram before the start of training camp. Although there was speculation that the Golden State Warriors might make a bold move and acquire a star before the start of the next season, new reports indicate that if a trade happens, it will certainly not involve New Orleans Pelicans forward Brandon Ingram. The current context for the Warriors marks a significant turning point. The franchise, which dominated the NBA over the past decade with a core of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, now finds itself in a new phase. For the first time in over 10 years, this legendary trio will not be together on the court in the Warriors' blue and gold jerseys. Klay Thompson, one of the greatest three-point shooters in league history, left the team to sign with the Dallas Mavericks last summer, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a profound transformation in the roster. With this inevitable transition, the Warriors hoped they could introduce a new star to keep the team competitive and relevant in the title chase. For several weeks, the organization's attention turned to Lauri Markkanen, standout player from the Utah Jazz, as the primary target for a potential trade. Markkanen, a talented forward with versatile skills, seemed like the perfect fit to rejuvenate the Warriors roster. However, negotiations stalled when Golden State refused to include two promising young players in the deal, Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski. This impasse, in itself, frustrated hopes of finalizing the trade, leaving the Warriors without the star they intended to add for the upcoming season. Instead, notable off-season additions were three NBA veterans, DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, and Buddy Hield. While these signings could add experience and depth to the roster, they do not represent the transformative impact the team sought. Nevertheless, the expectation persists that the Warriors may still be eyeing a major move before the start of training camp. Among the rumors, there was talk of Brandon Ingram, a talented forward from the Pelicans, being the team's main target. However, according to Monty Poole, a respected reporter from NBC Sports Bay Area, this possibility has been virtually ruled out. In his recent column, Poole revealed the reasoning behind the Warriors' hesitation to pursue a trade for Ingram. According to him, a crucial factor shaping the current stance of the management is the bitter memory of the failed attempt to acquire Kelly Oubre Jr. in 2020. That year, following Kevin Durant's departure, the franchise was desperate to maintain its elite status in the NBA and made a risky move by bringing in Oubre, believing he could help keep the team competitive. However, Oubre's impact was limited, and the trade did not yield the expected results. This mistake left deep marks on how the management handles high-risk trades, especially those involving emerging talents or multiple draft picks. Poole highlighted that since the failure with Oubre, the Warriors have adopted a more cautious approach to their market moves. Instead of seeking a major change that could immediately transform the team, the management has preferred to make acquisitions that complement the current roster without drastically altering its core. In the 8 years since Durant's departure, the trade for Oubre was the only individual move made under the premise that it alone would be enough to keep the Warriors among the title favorites, Poole explained. All moves since then, including the recent addition of Chris Paul last summer, have been made to strengthen the roster but without changing its core. This caution reflects a significant shift in the management's mindset. Previously, the Warriors were willing to take risks and make significant sacrifices to stay on top, but the negative experience with Oubre led them to rethink this approach. Now, they are no longer willing to compromise their finances or sacrifice multiple draft picks for players who do not have universal acceptance as potential franchise changers. And this is where Brandon Ingram comes into play. Although Ingram is a talented player with an all-star game appearance and an impressive scoring average, he is not seen as a player who would justify such a risky move. According to sources, the Warriors believe there are enough pros and cons to acquiring Ingram for the risk of bringing him to Golden State to be considered too high. Brandon Ingram is currently in the final year of a 5-year, $158 million contract, and he is seeking a significant raise in his next deal. While it is undeniable that Ingram would bring a high level of offensive skill to the team, concerns about his durability and ability to elevate the franchise to a new level seem to be the factors making Golden State hesitant to proceed with any negotiation. The fact that Ingram is at the end of his contract, combined with the uncertainty about his actual impact on the Warriors' long-term success, makes the possibility of a trade unlikely. As the new NBA season approaches, with about a month and a half left before it begins, teams are busy making final adjustments to their rosters, preparing for training camp, and gearing up for the start of the competition. The Golden State Warriors, who have already added DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, and Kyle Anderson to their roster this summer, face the absence of Klay Thompson, who chose to join the Dallas Mavericks in free agency. With Thompson's departure, the Warriors are undergoing a significant restructuring phase, which includes not only changes in the roster composition but also efforts to add impactful stars to maintain the team's competitiveness. During the off-season, the team attempted to negotiate with two all-star stars, Paul George and Lauri Markkanen. However, both trade attempts were unsuccessful, leaving the Warriors without a significant addition to complement their team. Despite this, the Warriors management still has valuable assets for trade, and the team is actively exploring possibilities of bringing in a star who could fit well alongside Stephen Curry, the team's main player. According to Greg Swartz from Bleacher Report, LeBron James remains one of the ideal targets for the Warriors, but currently there seem to be few viable paths to make this trade happen. However, the dynamics of the NBA can change rapidly, and if the Los Angeles Lakers face difficulties at the start of the new season, the Warriors may reconsider their options for a potential deal. Schwartz notes, the Warriors already attempted to trade for LeBron James last season and shouldn't completely abandon the idea. We had the chance to see the partnership between James and Stephen Curry during the Olympics this summer, and, to many people's surprise, the two complemented each other wonderfully. He adds, if the Lakers perform around 50% this season, the Warriors should at least make a new approach to gauge James' availability, especially if Los Angeles fears he might leave as a free agent in the summer of 2025. The idea of pairing LeBron James with Curry and Draymond Green in the latter years of their NBA careers presents an intriguing prospect. All three are considered future Hall of Famers and excel in their respective roles, offering formidable potential for any team. However, the challenge is significant. LeBron has a strong connection to Los Angeles, and bringing him to the Warriors would require overcoming several obstacles, including the potential cost of a trade and the Lakers' reluctance to part with a player of his caliber. Additionally, trading for LeBron James would involve not only a substantial financial cost, but also the need to adjust the current Warriors roster to accommodate a player of his magnitude. The issue also involves building a competitive future for the team, balancing immediate needs with long-term vision. Despite the challenges, it is clear that the Warriors continue to explore the trade market and actively seek opportunities to strengthen their team. With Curry leading and the need to add a star who can elevate the team, the Warriors are ready to consider any possibility that could improve their roster and prepare them for a new championship run. Ongoing negotiations and the potential for a significant addition remain on the horizon for the Warriors, who are determined to maintain their position as one of the top forces in the NBA.